service starts, there was something I wanted to do. And I hope that this is something that at least a few people know what I'm talking about when I say this. This is the song in my head right now. Dun, 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 dun. Anybody know what that's from? Dun, 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 dun. Oh, come on. So there's a scene in Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Does anybody know that movie? Okay, so if you know that movie, there's a scene there where they've got their coconuts and they're pretending it's horse noises, and they're just galloping and pretending it's horse noises. And they've got this music playing in the background, dun, 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 and you're watching these little guys from a distance, dun, 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 and then all of a sudden, boom, it's right there in front of your face. And that's what this feels like, this service. That's what life has felt like to some extent lately, because you're home and you feel like you never know when you're going out. And I'm talking about the study process. I'm not talking about everybody in every situation. I'm saying, what is it like to study Hebrew during a pandemic? You're studying and you get on Zoom because you can't go out, and you're studying on Zoom and you're having a good time and you're visiting with each other. And yes, you practice some services and we play games and we do things like that. And then all of a sudden, you turn a calendar page and boom, guess who's turning 13 and guess whose turn it is to, are we going to do a Bat Mitzvah? And she says, I don't think so. And I said, but you got this. I don't think so. So I'm going to tell you something that everybody already knows about Arden. She's a cheerleader. Did you know that? So I've never been a cheerleader. I've been a song leader. Maybe some people think it's similar. It's not exactly the same. But a cheerleader, you have to be kind of in your face. But she is a shy cheerleader. She's also, when she starts cheering, she's in your face. But she's a shy cheerleader. We had just finished joking. Mitch said that she has to do a cheer for her bat mitzvah. And I said, we got this. Torah, rah, rah, rah. We got this. We've got this. She taught me everything I know about cheerleading. Rah, rah, rah. Anyway, the Gillum family is famous for a number of things. Scott, to me, is a hero because he was the PA who helped diagnose my CRPS, that I was in more pain than was humanly conceivable, and it was he and his doctor who figured out my pain. And then it hurts when if clothing touches your leg, it hurts. And his doctor saying, wait, she's got CRPS. Here, touch. Here, touch. So everybody touched it, and I hurt. But then they put me under a treatment that allows me to cope, and he's a hero for that. And then I'm helping Mom one day, and I decided that I can Superman and stop the addict's, whatever it's called, the ladder, from hitting the ground too hard. I did, but I also broke my wrist. And did the wrist doctor help me? No, Scott helped me and helped put on my cast, and he was my hero for that too. And now look, I could say rah, rah, rah and all of that. So Scott is a hero for me for many reasons. Melissa, I don't know what anybody else thinks of when the first thing they think of when they think of Melissa, other than smile. But second to smile, what do you think? Halloween, maybe? So somehow, like the day after Halloween, which somehow Scott puts away in less than half a second, like when no one's looking, poof, it's gone. But I think Melissa's already thinking about what's she going to do next year already. And yet, somehow, the Gillum family is very famous to me and will always be in my heart as being the ultimate example of what we have come to lovingly call pop-up bar mitzvah and pop-up bat mitzvah, that it just kind of surprises us. It happened with Aaron, and it happened with Arden, right? And we weren't sure we were going to do it because she wasn't sure she wanted to. And there were a lot of people, there were a few kids. We don't have lots of kids with bar and bat mitzvah, and we had a few kids who came up during the pandemic, and a few said they didn't want to do it, and that was okay. I said, in sports terminology, sometimes games get rained out. And sometimes the rained out games get rescheduled, and sometimes they don't. And for some of these kids, they just didn't. But at some point, Arden said yes, she wants to try. She didn't have to do it. In fact, today, a little while ago, I wasn't sure she was going to do it. But she said she wanted to try. And I said, look at the people who are here. There are people who love you. They just want to smile with you. We're all good, right? Let me take that. You need that. Okay, good. She's drinking a lot, I'm just saying. So today we're going to celebrate Shabbat, and just to make sure that she stays calm and cool and collected, you know what we do before we begin our service? You take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. You have to feel your shoulders relax. Breathe. She still refuses to breathe. All I'm asking her to do is breathe. Breathe. Okay, she is breathing. She said, breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Let all of the stresses be gone. Leave them out the door. It's Shabbat. We don't have to worry anymore. It's a relaxing time. You know your stuff. Everybody's happy to be here to celebrate Shabbat with you. So we are going to begin, and I think someone else may tell you this too. The B'nai Zion board decided to use the new Reform prayer book, which is not this prayer book. This is the prayer book that Arden has used all of her life. So I gave her a choice about which one she wanted to use, the new one or this one, and she chose to use this one for her service. So this is one of the last weekends that we are officially using this prayer book, and she's chosen a beautiful service in here. So we are going to begin on page 65, and I'm going to ask Arden's family to come up and help us by blessing the candles and blessing Shabbat with a Kiddush. But starting on page 65, our tradition here is that if it's comfortable for you to stand, I invite you to stand. If not, we like to say you can stand with us in spirit. You could go over with them if you want. We have a mic on over there? Not yet? Liam? Mike?
Is it on?
It's on. Nope, no. Oh, I see what's happening. I'll tell you what we're going to do. Guess what? It's on, but the battery's about to die. So we're going to start with this one. See, Arden, where's the mistakes? It's in the tech stuff. It's just the batteries. Go ahead, try.
Ready? As these candles give light to all who behold them, so may we give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvato, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe. You hallow us with your mitzvah and command us to kindle the lights of Shabbat. Let there be joy.
Let there be light.
Let there be peace.
Let there be Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. We continue with the Kiddush on pages 167 and 166. At the bottom of 167, we do one line in Hebrew. Grab your cup. Who's holding the cup today?
Here, you can hold a cup. You want to hold it? Let Aaron hold it.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei pari hagafen. And we can continue with the translation on page 166 at the top of the page.
Okay, we praise you.
Eternal God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe. You call us to holiness with the mitzvah of Shabbat, the sign of your love, a reminder of your creative work and of our liberation from Egyptian bondage, our day of days. On Shabbat especially, we hearken to your call to serve you as a holy people. We praise you, O God, for the holiness of Shabbat. L'chaim. Go for it. There's no telling what's in there.
Give it to Arden.
You are welcome to be seated, but first make sure you say Shabbat Shalom to someone you came in with, someone you didn't come in with. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Say Shabbat Shalom to people you came in with and didn't. You are welcome to be seated. And we are going to turn back in the prayer book in a moment, but first we're going to sing a song that doesn't even require you to be looking at your book, because these words are easy. It goes like this. Bim bum, bim 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 bum, bim 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 bum, chiri biri biri bim bum, bim 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 bum, bim 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 bum. More Shabbat Shaloms. Shabbat Shalom. So if you're clapping, you have to know the rules about clapping on Shabbat. What's the rules about clapping on Shabbat? Yeah. So if most of the week you clap like this, Shabbat should be a day that's different. So clap like this. Or clap like this. Or clap some other way. Do a joyful clapping. Try it again. Start with a bim bum. Bim bum. Bim 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 bum. Bim 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 bum. Chiri biri biri bim bum. Bim 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 bum. Bim 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 bum. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. High part. Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Bim again. Bim. Bum, bim, 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 bum, bim, 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 bum, chiri, biri, biri, bim, bum, bim, 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 bum, bim, 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 bum. We turn back again to page 67. O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness and of the impulse within us for justice and mercy, we pray that this hour of worship may be one of vision and inspiration. Help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in search and in need, all who bring to this place the offering of their hearts. May our worship here lead us to fulfill our words and intentions with acts of kindness, peace, and love. Amen. We have come together to strengthen our bonds with our people Israel. Like Jews of generations past, we celebrate the grandeur of creation. Like Jews of every age, we echo our people's ancient call for justice. Our celebration is a sharing of memory and hope. We are Jews, but each of us is unique. We stand apart and alone with differing feelings and insights, and yet we are not entirely alone and separate, for we are children of one people and one heritage. Our celebration unites many separate selves into a single chorus, and we are one in search of life's meaning. All of us know despair and exaltation. All bear burdens. All have moments of weakness and times of strength. All sing songs of sorrow and love. May our celebration bring us strength along the way. In this circle of hope, in the presence of the sacred, may the heart come to know itself and its best, finding a fresh impulse to love the good.
May our celebration lead us to work for the good, and may this Shabbat give strength to us and to our people.
And are we grateful that we are here together? We say how good it is, how pleasant it is when we're all sitting here together. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im, shevet achim gam yachad. שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. Many are the generations of Israel, and in every age we have sought the living God through Sabbath rest and worship. This time and place hold the power to increase our joy in the eternal. O God, even as we seek you in the sanctuary, help us to know that your glory fills all space. Make us understand that you are with us at all times, if we but open our minds to you. We feel the presence of your Spirit in our homes and on our ways. We see the beauty of your creation in mountain, sea, and sky, and in the human form. We hear you in the silence of our own hearts, speaking the truths the heart knows. May we be your witness to the world, your messenger to all the earth. May we show forth your image within us, the divine spark that makes us human. Yitgadal v'yitkadash me'raba, be'alma divra chiruteh, v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon u'v'yom hechon, u'v'chaye d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala, ba'agala, u'vizman kariv, v'imiru, amen. Yeheshme Rabba mevarach, le'alam ul'almei almaya, yitbarach, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yit'aleh, v'yithalal, shemeh d'kudesha, brichu, le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, Damiran be'alma v'miru, amen.
Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
As day departs, as the dark of night descends, we lift our eyes to the heavens. In awe and wonder, our hearts cry out.
Eternal God, how majestic is your name in all the earth.
A vast universe, who can know it? What mind can fathom it? We look out to the endless suns and ask, what are we? What are our dreams and our hopes? What are we that you are mindful of us? What are we that you should care for us?
And yet within us abides a measure of your spirit. You are remote, but oh, how near, ordering the stars in the vast solitudes of the dark, yet whispering in our minds that you are closer than the air we breathe. For you have made us little less than divine, and crowned us with glory and honor. With love and awe we turn to you, and in the dark of evening we seek the light of your presence.
One and only God, you have made us each of us unique, and formed us to be united in one family of life. Be with us, Eternal One, as we seek to unite our lives with your presence and your love.
We proclaim now your oneness and our own hope for unity. We acclaim your creative power in the universe and in ourselves, the law that binds world to world and heart to heart.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה asher anochi mitzvacha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha v'lechtecha v'derech v'shochbecha v'komecha וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
You shall love your eternal God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your being. Set these words, which I command you this day, upon your heart. Teach them faithfully to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them be symbols before your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Be mindful of all my mitzvot and do them. So shall you consecrate yourselves to your God. I am your eternal God, who led you out of Egypt to be your God. I am your eternal God.
In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness, a world waiting to be redeemed, give us, O source of good, the courage to say, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and your love.
From Egypt, the house of bondage, we were delivered. At Sinai, amid peals of thunder, we bound ourselves to your purpose. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, we survived oppression and exile, time and again, overcoming the forces that would have destroyed us.
Our failings are many, our faults are great, yet it has been our glory to bear witness to our God and to keep alive in dark ages the vision of a world redeemed.
May this vision never fade. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we sing with one accord, as Moses, Miriam, and Israel sang at the shores of the sea.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot oseh felah, nora tehilot oseh felah.
V'ne'emar. And it has been said, the Eternal One delivered Jacob and redeemed us from the hand of one stronger than ourselves. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. We praise you, O God, Redeemer of Israel. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Eternal God, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up to find our hearts waiting to do your will.
We praise you, Guardian of Israel, whose love gives light to all the world.
O God of Israel, may our worship on this day help us to grow in loyalty to our covenant with you and to the way of life it demands, the way of gentleness and justice, the path of truth and of peace.
Vishameru v'nei Yisrael ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Please rise for the tefillah, which begins on page 76.
Adonai sifata tiftach ufi yagid tefilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevii Geula livnei v'neihem, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. Your might, O God, is everlasting.
Help us to use our strength for good.
You are the source of life and blessing.
Help us to choose life for ourselves and our children.
You are the support of the falling.
Help us to lift up the fallen.
You are the author of freedom.
Help us to free the captive.
You are our hope in death as in life.
Help us to keep faith with those who sleep in the dust.
Your might, O God, is everlasting.
Help us to use our strength for good.
You are Kadosh, holy. Your name is Kadosh, holy. And those who strive to be Kadosh, holy, declare your glory day by day. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el Hagadosh. We praise you, Eternal One, the Holy God.
Do this. Tell him to sit down. Good job. Ready? Yismechu v'malechutecha, shomare, shomare, shomare Shabbat, kore oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshe, mekadeshe shvi Shabbat, kulam yisbeu v'yitangu mituvecha Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, shomare, shomare, shomare Shabbat, kore oneg Shabbat. V'hashvi'i ratzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat. Chemdat yamim Oto karata Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, shomare, shomare, shomare Shabbat, kore oneg Shabbat. Zecher lema'aseh v'reishi
Shabbat.
Yes. Zecher L'maaseh v'reshit Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha Shomerei, shomerei, shomerei Shabbat, korei oneg Shabbat. God of Israel, may our worship on this Sabbath bring us near to all that is high and holy. May it bind the generations in bonds of love and sharing, and unite us with our people in common hope and faith. And through Sabbath rest and worship, may we learn to find fulfillment and joy in the vision of peace for all the world.
You are with us in our prayer, in our love, in our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble and pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there may we find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service.
Eternal source of good, we give thanks for the numberless gifts and blessings that fill our days, for life itself and its endless variety, for all that sustains body and mind, for love and friendship, for the delights of the senses, and for the excellence of your Torah, which deepens our life and enriches our days. Teach us, God of wonders, to work for a just and compassionate society where all may share your gifts and the joy of freedom.
Grant us peace, your most precious gift. O eternal source of peace, give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth.
Bless our country, that it may always be a stronghold of peace and its advocate among the nations. May its contentment reign within its borders, health and happiness within its homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship among the inhabitants of all lands.
May we love your name.
Hallow every home and every heart. We praise you, O God, the source of peace. You can sit down. Take a break. Everybody else is going to say the words that are in their hearts. You can read what's at the bottom of page 80, but I know that there's something in your heart that you came here to think about. Now is a time for silent prayer. May the words of my mouth, Imre fi v'hegyon libi, and the meditations of my heart, Lefanecha, be acceptable to you, Lefanecha, be acceptable to you. Adonai Tzuri, God my rock, Tzuri v'goali, my rock and my redeemer, Adonai Tzuri, God my rock and redeemer. Gohu Ali. I forgot the part. Sorry. At this time in our service, our hearts and our prayers turn to those who are ill, recuperating, dealing with the consequences of COVID-19 or confinement, coping with natural disasters, or the recent death of loved ones. If you have someone for whom you would like us to be saying prayers for healing or recuperation, I invite you to call them out. For all these names, for the names we choose to hold in our hearts and not say out loud, we pray together on the inside back cover of the prayer book. O God, in our hearts we name those who are facing illness and pain. We join our prayers with the prayers of all who love them. Give them renewed comfort and courage. Strengthen in them the healing powers you have placed within us all. Guide the hands and hearts of those who are entrusted with their care. May the knowledge of your love and ours give added hope to them and to their dear ones. May they find even greater strength because our prayers are linked to theirs. Baruch atah Adonai Rofeh HaCholim. We praise you, eternal God, the source of healing and health, and it has become our tradition to add, Misheberach Avotenu ve'imotenu. May the one who blessed and protected our ancestors guard all those whom we have entrusted with the responsibility of defending our freedom, protecting us, or healing us in this country, in the land of Israel, and everywhere they've been called to serve. Give them courage to succeed and strength to persevere. May they return home safely, and let us say, Amen. This time in our service, we are about to begin our Torah service. So I'm going to tell you a few things about a Torah service here. We are not going to be marching with the Torah today, but Arden is going to be reading from Torah today. And I think that the people here already know this, but I still am amazed. The Hebrew that she has learned, the Hebrew that you saw her read, that's already impressive. That's a lot of Hebrew. But when you can also read from the Torah, where there's no vowels, there's no punctuation, and she reads it in a way that anyone here who understands Hebrew is going to know what she's talking about and is going to understand the importance of her words. She really impresses me because, as I pointed out before, we did one of these pop-up bat mitzvahs, and we kind of only recently started studying Torah. So I am very impressed with what she's doing. And this is not to put pressure on her to do a good job. I told her everybody makes mistakes, but I don't think you're going to hear her making any mistakes. She does a really good job with this. Did everybody get some candy? Please tell me you didn't eat your candy. Everybody have your candy? Anybody get candy? I put some people in charge of candy. What's going to happen is you're going to get candy, and it is extremely important that you do not eat the candy, especially not in the sanctuary. This is not a place for eating. That you hold on to it because we need it for a special point in the service. So while we're handing out some candy, as I'm describing to you what's going to happen during the Torah service, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen with the candy first, because that's the part that, now that I talked about how important the Torah is, that's the part you're next most curious about. We are going to, what's the word? Gently toss, Aaron, gently toss the candy at Arden, because we want to show her that learning is not painful, that learning is sweet. I want to remind you that we now have glass doors here. Please do not try to throw it hard. Gently toss it at her to remind her that learning is sweet, and then I'm going to need somebody to come and grab them all. Doesn't look like there's anybody younger than you to come grab it, so we're going to figure out who we're picking to get to grab all of the candy once we're done. Do not eat it during this service. Please, you're welcome to eat some afterwards, but you have to wait until after the service is over, please, after you've gone. But there's better stuff in the Oneg Shabbat afterwards. Just to show her that learning is sweet, I will show you when to gently toss it to her. You'll watch me make the Torah disappear, poof, and that's when you'll be able to toss it to her. Gently toss it at her. Okay. We begin our Torah service on page 141. I'm going to ask that Arden's family come back up again for a moment because they're going to help me with this part as I'm reading. Assembled at a mountain, our people, still bent from oppression, found you, found your Torah, found your truth, and embraced the destiny that has shaped worlds. Help us still to shape the world according to your will. Help us to teach and to learn, to hear your word anew, and to find in it our path to goodness and truth. We are going to skip to the middle of the next page. Please open the ark. When the ark is open, please rise. El harachamim hetiva virtzonecha et Zion tivnei chomot Yerushalayim tivnei chomot Yerushalayim ki v'cha levad batachnu melech el ram v'nisa adon olamim. Havugod Eloheinu utenu chavod la Torah. Let us declare the greatness of our God and give honor to the Torah. Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah. Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah. Udevar Adonai mirushalayim. Baruch shenatan Torah Torah. Baruch shenatan Torah Torah le'amo Yisrael v'kedushato. Beit Yaakov lechu v'nelcha b'or Adonai. House of Jacob, come. Let us walk by the light of our God. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai echad echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo. Gadlul Adonai iti uneromim Shemo yachdav. O magnify the Eternal One with me, and together let us exalt God's name. We're going to turn back to page 141 and sing the words at the bottom of that page because you have a transliteration for that if you need it. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim. Al shlosha devarim ha'olam omed. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim ha'olam omed. Al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gmilut chasadim. Al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gmilut chasadim. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim ha'olam omed. You may be seated. Ready? Mm-hmm. Okay. She said yes. I saw. Where's my yacht at? Oh, there it is. Anyone? Okay. That should be good. Ta'amod Miriam bat Malka Ora Uskat Bat Mitzvah.
Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach la'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bahar banu michol ha'amim ve'natan et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
וישלחני אלוהים לפניכם, לשום לכם שארית בארץ, ולהחיות לכם לפלטה גדולה, ועתה לא אתם שלחתם אותי הנה, כי האלוהים, וישימני לאב לפרעה, ולאדון לכל ביתו, ומושל בכל ארץ מצרים, מהרו ועלו אל אבי. ונאמר,
Vamartem?
ואמרתם,
That's another one.
ואמרתם בכל,
Oh,
wait, no.
no, down here. Vamartem Elav.
ואמרתם אליו, כה אמר בנך יוסף, שמני אלוהים לאדון לכל. Wait, שמני, oh my goodness, אלוהים מצרים. רעדה אלי, אל תעמוד. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורה אמת, וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, נותן התורה.
Amen. I need to call up Dad and brother again. Scott and Aaron, be ready. Be ready to stand up. Open. Please rise. וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. You may be seated. Ready? Now Arden's going to tell you what she just read in Hebrew in case you didn't understand her, which you should have. It was great.
The Torah selection I read is from the book of Genesis, beginning with chapter 45, verse 7. So God sent me ahead of you to assure your survival in the land and to keep you alive for a great deliverance. So it's not you who sent me here, but the God who made me a father to Pharaoh, a lord over his household, a ruler of the whole land of Egypt. Hurry back up to my father and say to him, thus says your son Joseph, God has made me lord of all Egypt. Come down to me. Do not delay.
Now Arden's going to tell you a little bit something about her Torah portion.
It's
Over there.
In the Torah portion I read today, Joseph and his brothers see each other after many years. The last time they saw each other, the brothers were trying to eliminate Joseph. In fact, he wound up a slave in Egypt and then got thrown into a dungeon for many years. When the brothers came to Egypt to get food, Joseph recognized them, but they did not know who he was, particularly because they did not know if he was still alive. And they certainly did not know that he had become such an important man in Egypt. Then there was the big reveal. Joseph says that he is their brother. He quickly tells them not to worry, because even though they may have meant to get rid of him, or worse, he tells them that obviously God meant for all this to happen, so that he could save them and many other people from famine. I really appreciate this story, and especially the fact that Joseph saw what seemed to be something bad as being a positive thing. You may not know that when I was younger, I found out that I had a tumor in my leg and had to have surgery. Most people would think that this is a terrible thing, and I'm not going to say it was great. It was terrible. I thought nothing good would come out of it. I had to believe that once I was healed, my life would go back to normal. It did eventually go back to normal because I could walk and run and didn't really have any restrictions about my leg. But I also eventually changed. At some point, I realized that people who have gone through difficult situations can sometimes be very helpful to others when their lives get difficult. Joseph's words to his brothers really meant a lot to me. I hope that when you see someone going through some rough times, you can find a way to help them get through it. I think it is cool that the Torah teaches that lesson. I think it is wonderful that Judaism focuses on taking care of other people. It is a part of why I'm proud to be Jewish, that and bagels. I really do love bagels. Now that I am a Jewish adult, I plan to keep my love and passion alive for Judaism by continuing to learn and continuing to do Jewish things like going to or watching services, and of course, eating bagels. Thank you to everyone who is celebrating with me, all of you here in person and all of you watching. Some of you made a special effort to be here by coming out of town. Thank you so much. So many of you have supported me to help me get to this special day. Thank you to my friends and thank you to my teachers. Rabbi Jana, thank you for the many years of teaching. I really love my family. You are all so important to me on both my dad's side and my mom's side. Gigi and Pop, I feel so lucky that I get to hang out with you. Thank you for being there for me. You are amazing grandparents. I love you. Foxy and Bruce, thank you for encouraging me to strive to live a Jewish life. Thank you for being there for me for my ups and downs. I hope to always be there for you. I love you. Aaron, in the words of someone special, thanks for being nice to me most of the time. No, seriously. Hang on, I lost where I was. You are my big brother, and you totally inspired me to do this Bat Mitzvah. I love you. Dad, you have managed to get me to all of my cheer practices, helped me with homework, and even made sure I got to and from my Hebrew lessons. Plus, you work, take care of Aaron and Mom, and do so many more things. And I don't know how you do it all. I know I haven't said it enough. I really appreciate you. You're my hero. I love you. Mom, you take care of all of us. You work, you take care of the family. Thank you for always loving me and supporting me. I know how important being Jewish is to you, and I thank you because of how much you encourage me about being Jewish. I understand now how important it has been for me to do, even some of the things that you didn't get to do. You're my role model. I love you.
Gently toss. Gently toss, gently. Gently. You almost done? Oh, man. All right, I need somebody to come help. Whoop, good. All right, thank you. Torah's coming back in. I need somebody to come help clean this up. Come clean this up. Please. We don't want to be stepping on it. Siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, yehelanu. Siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, yehelanu. I would like to invite Scott and Melissa to come up. They have something they want to say to Arden. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, come on up. They're going to need this. You might need it. Somebody might need it. Here, you're going to need the microphone now. Thank you.
Well, I cannot tell you I'm just so proud of you right now.
Are we on?
What she was talking about earlier is I did not get to have a bat mitzvah. I went to Sunday school. I had a wonderful rabbi, but I didn't go to Hebrew class or do anything like that, so I never got to have a bat mitzvah, and I always regretted it. And so Arden and I talked about that for a really long time, and I didn't want to pressure her, and I didn't think she was going to do it. And I think that me not doing it and her seeing how it affected me and how I really wished I had made her kind of push through and decide to do it. And I'm so incredibly proud right now. I don't even have words for it. And Rabbi is absolutely amazing because my children have just put her through the ringer. I mean, Aaron did his in 5 days, and Arden has done hers in about a month and a half. So we owe it all to her. And like she was saying, to my wonderful husband, because I've been out of town a lot working and taking care of my father, who's been ill, and so he's kind of had to take over everything, and so I really appreciate that as well. But Arden, you're absolutely amazing, and I'm so proud of you. I just don't have the words for it. You did wonderfully.
Did you want to say?
Thank you.
Put your hands on her head, please, for a second. Help me out with this one. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehecheyanu, v'kiyamanu, v'higianu, lazman hazeh. Praised are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, because you gave us life, you sustained us, and you caused us to reach this very, very special moment. Amen. Thank you. All right, we've got, the family gets to kind of stay up here. Oh, no, actually, we have other family who gets to come up and help us open the ark. Send your parents up, please. We are continuing on page 146 in your prayer book. And you are going to help us by opening the ark. Why don't we grab the Torah first?
That side is popping in.
Page 146. Please rise when the ark is open. Go ahead. Go for it. Yehalelu et Shem Adonai ki nisgav shemo levado. Let us praise the eternal God, whose name alone is exalted. Hodu al eretz v'shamayim vayarem keren le'amo tehila lechol chasidav livnei Yisrael am kirovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. At the bottom of page 146, God's teaching is perfect, reviving the soul. God's word is unfailing, making wise the simple. God's precepts are right, delighting the mind. God's mitzvah is clear, giving light to the eyes. God's doctrine is pure, enduring forever. God's guidance is true and altogether just. Behold, a good doctrine has been given you, my Torah. Do not forsake it. It is a tree of life to those who hold it fast, and all who cling to it find happiness. Its ways are ways of pleasantness, and all its paths are peace. Hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva chadesh yameinu yameinu kekedem. When the ark is closed, you may be seated. And you have the rare privilege of getting to give her a hug. Go for it.
I'll be that girl. Did I? It's okay. Thank you.
At this time, we have some representatives from our congregation who would like to speak to you. Haha, you don't get to sit down yet. Who would like to speak to you, and they have things for you. We're going to start with Mr. Mitch Neustadt, representing the Brotherhood. You have to give this to him so he could give this to you. We have a new tradition here that we're still not sure exactly how we're playing this thing out, but he's going to help us with this.
Arden, very pleased and proud of how well you did, especially on a short notice.
Thank you.
I've been a friend of your families for a long, long time. Your grandmother, your grandfather, Bruce, and Foxy, as they know, I can call them Don and Paul. I was friends with your great-uncle Paul. He's the same age as I was. My brother was the same age as your grandfather. They did a few things together around the world. The only thing they couldn't get along with was a problem about one being an Ole Miss guy
Oh, no.
and the other one being an LSU guy. I think there were a few bets over the time about that. I am proud that you got your mama's hair, not your dad's. And all. So I am glad to give you this prayer book. She got to study with it all the time and make her notes, and so the notes that she made will always be with her when she wrote them. Then we engraved her name on the front. So on behalf of the Brotherhood, we're pleased for you to have it to share with yourself.
Thank you.
I now call upon Bethany, who is the president of our sisterhood.
Well, I'm so glad that you decided to have this service and be present with us in real life tonight and be a part of this beloved community. You will always be welcome here and a member of this B'nai Zion family. And to remind you of this day and of your commitment to Judaism, the sisterhood presents you with these incredibly heavy candlesticks.
They are heavy.
Congratulations, and thank you for doing this. It makes our whole community proud.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a heavy responsibility, this Jewish things. Kathy, would you please come up and represent B'nai Zion?
Well, actually, I have two presentations to make. One's kind of mundane and the other one's kind of exciting, As in anything that brings conclusion to anything else, somehow or another, there has to be a certificate. And so here we are. And this says that you actually did what we've all been talking about. You were called to the Torah and conducted the Shabbat evening service here at B'nai Zion. And I hope you frame it and put it someplace where you'll always see it, because it is a wonderful remembrance of tonight.
Thank you.
Now, the other thing, grandparents take note. It's a $250 gift certificate. You all have to make up the difference. Toward a trip to Israel. What a wonderful way to remember your Bat Mitzvah.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, Arden, I'll let you sit down, but Kathy, you want to stay up for a second? It's coming. And while Kathy is telling us the announcements from B'nai Zion, I'm going to call up Bob Lockman to come up and tell us, be ready to give us some announcements from Agudat Achim also.
Shabbat Shalom. It is so good to see all of you out here this evening and sharing in this very special occasion. Mazel Tov to Arden and her family. You're invited to join Melissa and Scott and the rest of Arden's family for an Oneg Shabbat after the service. We will not have a Zoom Oneg Shabbat tonight since we will be in person. And the Oneg will be down in the other lobby. So please do come join us. Tomorrow morning we will be in person and online. Join us in the sanctuary for the Kiddush Shabbat for families from 9 to 9:30. Torah study from 9:45 to 11, and services starting at 11. If you are in person, you need to come in the back entrance to the sanctuary. That's it. Check the website for details about how to access the online options. Note that the online versions of Kiddush, Shabbat, and Torah study will be on Zoom, but the service will be on YouTube. We also hope you will join us as we will be celebrating another Bat Mitzvah next weekend when Maureen and Rick Nurov invite you to join with them as their daughter Natalia helps lead the service at 6 p.m. Friday evening. And then 10 a.m. next Saturday, December 18th, when Natalia will help lead the service and be called to the Torah as a Bat Mitzvah. The Saturday morning services will be followed by Kiddush luncheon. The email that went out today accidentally, said that there is no religious school this week. That's wrong. There is going to be a religious school. And it is important to note that the winter break for religious school does not begin until next week. There will not be school on December 19th, but there will be school this Sunday, the 12th. The Jewish Federation is hiring a new executive director. Please send suggestions to Bethany or to David Baranis. Excuse me. The Jewish Federation is also planning a trip to Israel for this February. Time is running out to make reservations, but go to their website for details. Donations were made to B'nai Zion Sisterhood Flower Fund in loving memory of Charles Yellen by Gary and Harvey Yellen. In loving memory of Mandel C. Selber by Mandel C. Selber Jr., Kimberly Selber Lester, Mandel C. Selber III, and Suzanne Selber Miller. In loving memory of Mary Rosenbaum Selber by Mandel Selber Jr., Kimberly Selber Lester, Mandel Selber III, and Suzanne Selber Miller. And in loving memory of Paul Silverblatt by Sam Silverblatt. Shabbat Shalom. Stay safe.
One of the cool things that happens in this community, it's not a big community, we celebrate together. Agudath Achim is worshiping with us today, so we invite the president of Agudath Achim. You've got yours.
Good Shabbos. I'm Bob Lockman, president of Agudath Achim. Thanks everybody for inviting us here tonight to Arden's Bat Mitzvah. It was a pleasure to hear her, and I was really surprised for somebody that's only been taught or in training for like 2 months, I guess. Her Hebrew was really good. So she's one of us and an adult in Judaism. And I know you love bagels, but when Yom Kippur comes, you're going to have to fast with the rest of us now. Anyway, and to the family also, Mazel Tov, congratulations. So we're having services tomorrow at Agudath Achim at 10 a.m. and we'll be followed by a Kiddush lunch at 12:30. And I'm the cook, so I made matzo ball soup for everybody and the challahs. The Havdalah time tomorrow evening will be at 6 p.m. Unveiling for Raymond Muroff's headstone will be at the Agudath Achim Cemetery at Yale and Walnut Streets on Sunday, December 12th at 3 p.m. And that's long overdue, but we finally got a nice headstone for him, and he deserves it. Welcoming and inclusion at Agudath Achim, Sunday, December 12th at 7 p.m. And it's going to be in person and on Zoom, featuring panelists Rabbi Lauren Tuckman, Dr. Karen McGinney, and Angelica Ruse. Board meeting. Agudath Achim is having a board meeting for the members. The board members anyway. Monday, December 13th at 7 p.m. That'll be in person and on Zoom at our library. Learn to Read Hebrew class. Wednesdays, December 15th, 7 p.m. in person and on Zoom with Rabbi Sidney. 613 Relevant Commandments, Thursday, December 16th at 7 p.m. on Zoom only with Rabbi Feifel. No services next Saturday, December 18th, in honor of Natalia Murov's Bat Mitzvah at B'nai Zion. Well, you should all be here at 10 a.m., and that's at 10 a.m. Havdalah and dinner on the town, Saturday, December 25th, 7 p.m. If anybody wants to come have like a Chinese dinner on Christmas Day, let me know. I'm trying to set something up. I finally found a restaurant that's open, Ming Garden. So I think we have around 13 people, but I'll need to try to give them a good firm number on how many seats we're going to have around the table. But looking forward to that. We've been kind of doing that for about 10 years now, and it's a lot of fun. And Exploring Judaism, 5782, Wednesday, starting January 12th at 7 p.m. I think that's a new class Rabbi Sidney starting. Contact Rabbi Sidney or Tessa if you're interested in our office. Thank you, and good Shabbos.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So the next thing we do is I ask everyone to please turn to page 148. We're not going to do the Aleinu right away. I get to bless Arden in front of the ark. I'm turning off my microphones and then blessing her in private in front of everybody. It's kind of a strange thing to be in private and in front of everybody at the same time. But I get a moment in front of the ark. So I ask if you can to please rise, and then we'll continue on page 148, so be ready for that. You get to help me with this. Would you hit our buttons, please? Page 148. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, la'tet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoy haratzot, v'lo samanu kemishbechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim, Lifnei melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. And on the facing page, we continue in Hebrew. V'nemar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. When the ark is closed, you may be seated. Thank you. We continue on page 151. At this time in our service, our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, let us meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We continue on page 152. When cherished ties are broken and the chain of love is shattered, only trust and the strength of faith can lighten the heaviness of the heart. At times, the pain of separation seems more than we can bear, but love and understanding can help us pass through the darkness toward the light. Out of affliction, the psalmist learned the law of God, and in truth, grief is a great teacher when it sends us back to serve and bless the living. We learn how to counsel and comfort those who, like ourselves, are bowed with sorrow. We learn when to keep silence in their presence and when a word will assure them of our love and concern. Thus, even when they are gone, the departed are with us, moving us to live as in their higher moments they themselves wished to live. We remember them now. They live in our hearts. They are an abiding blessing. However brief may be our time on earth, O God, you endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Rabbi Sidney, would you join me up here, please? We come together as a community for the celebration, and we come together as a community for the remembering. We now recall the loved ones whom death has recently taken from us. We recall congregants' parents who died within the past year. Do you have Shoshim?
We're still in Shiva for Dorothy Rosenfeld.
We remember congregants' parents who died within the past year include George Rothkopf, Henry Brenner, Ron Riley, and Fred Phillips. And as we remember those who died at this season in years past, we take them into our hearts with our own. Those for whom we're observing Yortzites this week include.
We are observing Yartzites for Casey Nicole Colley, Charles Yellen, Leah Shore, Martha Rochelson, George Burson, Bevel Shifra, Leon Abramson, Rabbi Ronald Myron Goldstein, and Willie Vetlitz. We're also still in Shloshim for Annette Sturman Schwartz.
And you may hear some overlap, but we are also observing Yortzites this past week for Esther Fish Arbili, Sam Beenan, Eva P. Cooperstein, Ike Kullick, Roger David, Belle Finkelstein, Melanie Meyer Goldstein, M. Mandel Heller, Mickey Holland, Philip Kenny, Hyman A. Pearlstein, Jack Scott, J.K. Scott, J.J., not J.K., J.J. I'm looking at this saying that's not right. Mary R. Selber, Mandel C. Selber Sr., Yvette Sommer, Harry Steckel, Marilyn Weil, Sam Weiner Jr., Charles Yellen, and Dorothy G. Zadek. In this moment of memory, our griefs and sympathies are mingled. Loving God, we rise if it is your custom, and together we praise your name.
Yit Gadal ve'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah Be'alma Divra Kirute V'yamlich Malchute B'chayechon Uvyomechon Uvchaye Dechol Beit Yisrael Ba'agala Ubizman Kariv V'imru Amen. Yehe Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'alam Ul'almei Almaya Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei dekudesha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shmaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may all those we're remembering today, may their memories be for a blessing.
Amen. Thank you. You may be seated again. Because we think it's going to be easier on you if you're sitting for this part. But Arden and I have something we want to do. It's okay if you're seated for this. We need to bless you. This is what's going to happen next. We're going to bless you, and then we're going to do a motzi so that you can enjoy the Oneg Shabbat that's down the hall. You may want to go this way because there's no stairs that way, and then out that way. And then we're going to sing while the family starts walking toward there so that they could be there to greet you. We're going to sing something. So we're going to bless you, we're going to motzi, and then the family's going to escape. You got it? These are audibles. Do you do audibles for cheerleading too? Rah, rah, and football. Wow.
Oh, no.
Help me out. Yivarechecha, point, who do you want to bless? Point to the people you want to bless. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmarecha. May God bless you. May God protect you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'choneka. May the light of God's face shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's face be lifted up to you because, as I said to someone we know and love, there are things that God looks up to you about. And may God grant you peace. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Now, Arden has something important she wants to do with what's under this. Take this, but you're also going to, yeah, you don't need, you've got your headset on. Take this down. We've already honored one set of grandparents. We're going to honor the other set of grandparents. They're going to help with a motzi. You ready?
How much? See?
You have to, what's under there? What do you think is under there? Ha-motzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz v'te'avon. All right, anybody in the front row is allowed to grab some and eat some. There's more for everybody else. You have to eat some. You just said the blessing. The family now can go that way to get to the Oneg Shabbat while everybody is singing the song that you have gotten very good at singing. Bim bam, bim 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 bam. Bim, 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 bum, chiri, biri, biri, bim, bum, bim, 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 bum, bim, 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 bum. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam, bim, 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 bam, chiri, biri, biri, bim, bam, bim, 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 bam, bim, 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 bam. Do it one more time. I'm going to take this from you. I'm going to let you go with everybody else. Go. I'll take off this. You can take your talit off if you want. And we'll take that other stuff off when you get there.
Okay.
Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Chiri, biri, biri, bim, bam. Bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, you are so very not enthusiastic right now. It's stressing me. Did you turn off her microphone? Did you turn off her mic? Thanks. You can go. Shabbat Shalom. They've gotten a head start. Please join them. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Mazel Tov.